I'm Pastor Aaron Harris, and this video is about how many people make a lot of money and are still broke because of lifestyle inflation. And if you watch until the end, then you'll learn how to avoid this costly mistake so that you can live in financial freedom. So let's kick this off by understanding what is lifestyle inflation. When I went to college, I went to graduate school at Abilene Christian University in Abilene, Texas. And when I was out there, I first rented an apartment. In that apartment, I had 4 roommates. It was a 4-bedroom apartment and it was 2 bathrooms. And I just remember not liking having roommates. Not that they were bad or things were wrong. It's just I wanted my own space. So then I ended up getting 2 more part-time jobs when I was in Abilene. And when I got 2 more part-time jobs, I had a total of 4 jobs, not making a ton of money. But then I remember moving into a studio apartment. And that studio apartment was a lot more expensive to be there by myself than it was to be in an apartment with 4 other people. After I graduated from there, I ended up moving to Los Angeles and going to Pepperdine University. When I went to Pepperdine University, I ended up renting a 1-bedroom apartment. And so I enjoyed it. I had my own space, and instead of being in a studio apartment, now I was in this 1-bedroom apartment. When I finished my Master's of Divinity there, I ended up doing a doctorate ministry at Fuller Theological Seminary, but I moved back to my home area, Sacramento, California. And when I was in Sacramento, I rented a 2-bedroom apartment. And this is an example of lifestyle inflation. Anytime I got a job, I got a raise, I got more money, and I was making more, then I went from sharing a 4-bedroom with 4 roommates to a studio to a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. And that's essentially what lifestyle inflation is. It's as your income rises, your cost of living rises as well. Most videos on YouTube about lifestyle inflation will look at it from a negative perspective, and they'll say lifestyle inflation is a negative thing and it's a bad thing. But I have a different perspective. Lifestyle inflation is not inherently a bad thing. That's the reason that you work hard. That's the reason why you go to school, why you get your degree, so that you can make a decent income and that you can afford things down the line. You do not want to drive the same car at 55 years old that you were driving when you first got your license at 17 years old, right? Eventually, you do not want to be living in the same home that you were living in when you were 19 years old or 25 years old or however old you were whenever you moved out of your parents' home. Instead, you should have hopes and aspirations of getting something a little bit bigger. That's why people go to school. That's why people get education. That's why people work hard, because one of the reasons is they want good things for their future. They want to set themselves in a good financial space so they can enjoy good things. So lifestyle inflation of you getting better things, your lifestyle increasing, you spending more money on things that you enjoy is not a bad thing. It is actually a good thing, because that's why we set goals, so we can buy a home, or we can get that car, we can live in a neighborhood that we want to live in. We work hard so that we can afford these things. So these things are not bad. What is bad, on the other hand, is not prioritizing saving as our lifestyle increases. And so really it's not about how much you make, but it's about how much you spend in correlation to how much you make. If you make $5,000 a month and you spend $5,000 a month, then you're paycheck to paycheck, and that is not good. But the thing is, throughout our childhood, what we're taught is to spend what we make. I remember when I was a kid and I would want something, I would have to save for it, or I would go and work for it. I would go cut grass or do whatever I can to make the additional money. If I wanted some shoes and the shoes cost $100 and I can get $20 by mowing lawns, then I knew, oh, I could go mow 5 lawns and I can make $20 per lawn that I mow. And then after that, I could take that $100 and I can turn around and I can get the shoes that I want. And that's what it taught me. If I wanted a Nintendo 64 or a PlayStation that cost $300, then I would do the calculations and I would say, well, if I could work this much and cut this much grass, or I can do this much work to earn extra income, or if I could save some birthday money or use a little bit of my Christmas money and put it together with money that I make helping people out with chores and different things, then I would be able to afford what I want. So that's what I would do. I would go, I would work, I would save my money, and then as soon as I had the 300 or the amount of money I needed, then I would spend it. And once I would spend it, I would get what I wanted. And that's what most people are taught about money. We're taught to spend exactly what we have, or work for a certain amount of money and go spend it and get exactly what we want. But no one told me that when I got into a college and when I finished up college, that I couldn't apply those same principles that I used as a child as an adult, because what I was doing was seeing what I wanted and I would save for it, and when I had enough money for it, I would buy it. I wasn't thinking about saving. I wasn't thinking about investing, but instead I was just thinking about what I wanted and how I could spend my money to get what I wanted. One thing I hope to do with my children, I have 2 small children, 1.5 and 2.5 right now, a boy and a girl. And what I hope to do with my son and daughter is I hope that in the future, when they go to make money to buy things that they want, so that they can learn a good work ethic and learn that things aren't just given to them and handed to them. I'm hoping that I can teach them to give. I'm hoping I can teach them to save and teach them to invest. And so if they need $100, I'm going to teach them, well, in order to buy something for $100, you need to make at least $160, right? Or $200, so that you can have money to give generously, to save, money to invest, and then make sure that you have a cushion of money left over. And I believe that if we teach our children these principles, that it will be beneficial and helpful for their financial development, instead of them just learning that whatever they make or whatever they have, they can spend it till it's all gone, and then they'll look for how they can get more money. There are some biblical principles that helps us to learn how we should approach lifestyle inflation. The first one is understanding 1 Timothy 6:6, that godliness with contentment is great gain, meaning that we need to be content with what we have. Now, some people think contentment means that you're complacent, and if you're content with what you have, you can't have a drive or a desire to get anything more. And that's not what it means at all. Contentment means that you are grateful for what you have, you are appreciative of what you have, but then you can still be in a space to where you're not complacent, to where you want to strive to have more. You still want to reach your goals. But I believe that if people are content with what they have, then you won't be overspending. You won't spend your last dollar, your last $100, your last $1,000 trying to get something that you don't have, because you're too busy appreciating what you do have. So then you have money to be able to save and invest. And when you save and invest those finances, then you are able to really get the things that you really want without being broke and without living paycheck to paycheck. Another passage that comes to my mind when I think about lifestyle inflation is I think about those who are faithful with little will be faithful with much. But those who can't be trusted with little can't be trusted with much. And what that's saying there is it's not about how much you have, but it's about what you do with what you have. A lot of people feel like, oh, if I have more money, then I would be able to save, then I would be able to invest, then I would be able to do this or do that. But I say, if you're faithful with little, you can be trusted with much, right? So with the little bit that you do have or the money that you're making today, what you have to do is you have to learn how to prioritize saving and how to prioritize investing, because if you don't know how to manage 100, how can you manage 1,000? If you can't manage 1,000, how can you manage 10,000? If you can't manage 10,000, how could you manage 100,000? If you can't manage 100,000, how can you manage 1,000,000, right? And so really with whatever you have, if it's $10, well, try to learn how to hold on to one of those dollars, as hard as it may seem. If it's $1,000, try to learn how to hold on to 100 of that thousand and save it for your future. The reason I started learning about personal finance in the first place is because I wanted to be a good steward of everything that God has entrusted me with, everything that I received, or the income that we have as a family, and I wanted to steward that wisely. I wanted to make good, wise financial decisions. So in the same way, that should be a motivating factor for you to continually learn about personal finance so that you can be a good steward of everything that you have and that you manage your resources responsibly. So if you enjoyed this video, then I want you to watch my live stream video that I did about this very topic, and it's similar, but it goes into much more detail about lifestyle inflation and how you can save and invest for your future.